ANC First Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokonyane has called for the Israeli embassy in South Africa to be closed. Mokonyane was addressing hundreds of people who gathered in Hatfield in Pretoria today to show solidarity for the Palestinian people as the conflict with Israel escalates since Hamas's attack on Israel on the 7th of October. The crowd, comprising of ANC members, Palestinian groups and sympathisers with the Palestinian cause, marched to the Israeli embassy today to hand over a memorandum of demands. We will be speaking to the Israeli ambassador to South Africa shortly. First, SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo has been in Pretoria and can give us a sense of what happened today. Great to have you with us in studio. How many people attended and what were the sentiments expressed, and give us a sense of how high emotions were, in fact?
Well, certainly, Francis. I mean, it was just few hundreds of people really came. And I think for the ANC, really, the message was about reaffirming their position that they've always been with the Palestinians, but also the very key issue around the two-state solution was a very main mantra that they really raised quite extensively. But apart from that, it was a very quite emotional scene because, I mean, it was right after the prayers on Friday at 12:30, where we saw all these masses really converging outside the Israeli, embassy. All of them really just walking across the street from Hatfield. A very clear message denouncing the very tragedies, the hostilities, the shelling that you have seen in Gaza. A lot of them saying that the children have been caught up in this awful conflict, calling for the cessation of hostilities, but also saying that they just want more than just few trucks carrying the humanitarian aid to be allowed. In fact, they were calling also for the International Criminal Court to be involved in this regard, saying we've seen the crimes against humanity committed in this regard.
And the memorandum of demands, I understand that was not received.
It was rather very lukewarm, Francis, especially because when we spoke to the ANC First Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokonyane, and she made it clear that, look, there's no one in this particular building, and also the security was heightened outside the Israeli embassy, and so there was no one really
So there was no one there to receive it.
There was no one there. And she was saying it's rather very frustrating because it's not a first time where they've had such demonstrations where also, the reception is not particularly great, especially because for the ANC, they always say that South Africa's foreign policy is very clear when it comes to peacemaking. South Africa always wants to see peace thriving, especially for the people of Palestine.
So she is calling for the embassy to be closed. Let's be clear, that's an ANC position, not a government position at the moment.
Well, that's right, Francis, especially because when you go back to the ANC's elective conference, the resolutions are very clear about the downgrading of the ties, turning South Africa's embassy in Tel Aviv into a liaison office. So that has been a very clear position. So they were really stressing that, something like the boycott of the goods of Israel, but also calling for this global solidarity, especially for the ANC, because they say one of the very key issues, how apartheid in South Africa was defeated, one of the main issues that they really put a very clear emphasis on was this international solidarity, rallying the international community.
Very peaceful in finality. It looks calm, even though you say the rhetoric, the emotions around that was pretty high.
Very much so, Francis. So a very peaceful affair, because as much as you had the police, you had the diplomatic unit, you had the public police order deployed around the diplomatic mission of Israel. Nothing really untoward happened. It was a very peaceful affair, and really it was quite interesting really to see the young and old, all of them really just standing side by side, saying that cessation of hostilities should be the order of the day.
All right, thank you very much. Khayelihle Khumalo, SABC News reporter.